Hi, this is Jim again. I just recently got some extra equipment and I wanted to demonstrate it on this video. In an earlier video, I was experimenting with using my Vocal Pro 1500 subwoofer. This particular subwoofer, if you recall, has some connections on the back, line input in and out. Hopefully this focuses on here. There's plugs in the line input, and the line output, I was experimenting to see whether or not the crossover on this particular subwoofer would actually act as a crossover, passing the high frequencies to the main speaker, this Behringer 208D, whether or not it would split the frequencies and only use what it needed and then pass the higher frequencies onto this speaker. But in that video, it sounded like the crossover was simply passing through the same signal as before. So in order to get the capability that I had on my home stereo receiver with its low frequency output and the cutoff to the high main speakers at 100 hertz, actually was selectable 75, 100 were the two frequencies. I ended up buying a small device, which I mentioned in another video. It is this device here. It is the Rolls SX21. It is a two-level crossover. It's only, as you can see here, it's only this big, maybe 3.5, 4 inches across, and not much taller, maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And what this unit does, for about under $70, it has an input frequency adjustment from 50 to actually 2.5 kilohertz, quite a wide range. And then it's got different level controls for high and low. So once you get the input frequency dialed in the way you want it, you can adjust independently the lows going to the sub and the highs going to my mid speaker. Now, on the back, because this is a mono device, they also make a stereo device, the SX21, I believe. But this one is strictly mono. Now, what I have here is, here's the input, which is a 1/4 inch unbalanced input. That is coming from the karaoke output on my DVD player. Again, the video is coming from a composite video, but I have two streams of karaoke, which is the music and the vocals that's coming from this karaoke DVD player. Now, one goes to the TV set, as I had said, since I'm trying to use this as a monitor in a karaoke setup. But the other input or output goes to the input side on the Rolls device. And then there are two outputs, 1/4 inch mono. One, I have this adapter on it. It's converting this cable, which has a 3.5 millimeter plug, and it goes to an RCA on this subwoofer. The subwoofer is not a professional model, so it does not have the 1/4 inch inputs as some would. So currently I'm using this adapter, and it works. It's a mono 1/4 inch phono plug. This one is a straight 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch 10-foot cable I just got today, and that goes to the back of the Behringer speaker. Again, this one has a 1/4 inch plus a, I forget what they call this, but the TRS, I believe it is, balanced input. So this is the unbalanced, this is the balanced, and then this is the link out that I had been going to from this speaker to pass the signal down to the subwoofer. But I'm not using that now because the device here requires that I have 2 lines, one going to the sub and one going to the main. Lows to the sub, highs to the main. And this is just the power supply that came with it. So anyway, I have there's a DVD playing here. I believe it's Bad Company. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the range of this particular device. So right now, I have this on the lowest frequency. Again, this goes from, and hopefully this shows up here. Right now the input is on 0, and it's the frequency cutover between the low and the high is at 50. So that means that most of the signal is going to go to the Behringer main speaker. And I currently have the subwoofer set at its maximum crossover, which is like between 150 and 160. So as I turn this frequency knob from 50 all the way to about mid-range between the 100 and the 250 here, I'll get more and more of the high frequencies will be passed on to the sub, and less will go to the main speaker. So this disc is going. I have volume levels set about medium for the Behringer speaker and the Vocal Pro subwoofer. So I'm going to gradually turn up the volume here. So I'm feeding more of the input is going into the crossover. And then I'm going to slowly turn up the lows. And you can gradually hear the bass beat come through the Vocal Pro. So right now I've got that at a mid-level, about halfway up for the low level. Now I'm going to turn up the high level. Let me just focus in here. Sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to gradually now this has most of the sound. Again, the frequency crossover is at 50, so most of the output is going to this speaker, and very little, only about 40 to 50 hertz is going to the Vocal Pro. Now as I come over here and adjust, I'm going to send more frequency to the subwoofer and less to the Behringer. Right now that's set at the 100 hertz level. It's approximating what I used to get on my home stereo system when I had the low frequency output, and also the front speakers, main speakers, set at small. So I'm getting good bass. I'm not sure how that's coming through here, but this is about where I would choose to run this in when I do the little DJ gigs. 100 seems to be a good crossover point from what I've read, and this speaker can then devote anything over 100. It's taken care of with its own 200-watt internal amplifier. Remember, there's about 138 watts to be used by the woofer, and another 38 by the high-frequency tweeter. So because this thing does not have to do the low end from 50 all the way up to 100. That's a lot of power that's required for those low bass notes. So the 200 watt Vocal Pro is handling those things with ease, and it should be, this crossover is very quiet, it's got 24 hertz rollover, these link-wise, it's the same kind of crossover settings that the higher end Behringers and Nady and all these other ones tend to use. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Again, this is the input, and I can control the sound from here. I'm going to turn that down. Right now, with that on low, I'm getting actually nothing I can hear through the main speaker. And I'm just hearing a little bit of background beat. Every once in a while you'll hear one. So it's got much less bleed through than when I had the same signals going to the subwoofer. I was hearing a lot more of the song, and much more of the song, including some of the vocals. So I think this was a really good deal. This, remember, it's called Rolls, R-O-L-L-S. It says it's made in the USA for yay. It's a tiny two-way crossover. Again, there's a stereo version, but since I'm running this mono setup now with only a single sub and a single main speaker, this was the right choice for me. The SX45, the stereo version of this, has, of course, two outputs in the back for each speaker. If I want to run, like, say, I buy another one of these Behringer speakers in the future to get the two, I'll just put in a Y splitter here and send the mono signal from the highs to one to each speaker. Again, mono is best for these DJ gigs. You don't want one side of the room hearing only half the music. So I'm quite happy with this setup. I can't wait to try it again. It's going to be a while before I do that, but I think this was the right way to go. It's fairly small, and the specs seem to be pretty good on it. So I'm happy with it as what little use I've gotten out of it the last couple of days. So I would highly recommend it if you're looking at a system like this and you don't want to carry around a ton of equipment. Very small, and like I said, it was under $70 through Amazon. So hope leave your comments or questions on this on YouTube, and I'll see if I can answer them for you. Thanks.